Welcome to Kick 'em in the Head, a podcast. Welcome to Kick 'em in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews with some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yao. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and gaining insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth. Welcome to the Kick 'em in the Head podcast. I'm your host, Zwane, and as always, we have an absolutely jam-packed MMA episode. Today, we're doing something we haven't done before. Today, we have an EFC prediction show. And to join me for this amazing show, our first one, we have the one and only Ola, my brother, from the Fight Week show. Ola, how are you doing tonight?
Bro, I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be here. Doing the first ever EFC prediction show on Keith. Kick them in the head. We here, people. Yeah, man. Make sure you are liking and subscribing as you come in, man. Show some love. Yao, be putting in the work. Salute to you, brother. Big up.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ola. Now, I think this show's been a long time coming. We have EFC 114 coming up on Thursday, the 6th of June. And the card that we have is one that excites me. There's quite a few fighters on here that I know personally. We've got the headline fight where there was a late notice change. I think, 4 or 5 days notice. An international fighter coming in to try and steal the limelight from a local sensation. You know, it's an absolutely fantastic card, and I'm really looking forward to actually, calling this one and seeing what you think about how these fights are going to go. Now, I'll be honest, just give me a couple of seconds. My slides are still uploading.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I mean, when you look at the card and the way it's turned up, and look, I want before we even go ahead, I need to give a big shout out to Tumelo, who was the former opponent on the main event against Terence Balelo. He's pulled out due to injury. So first and foremost, we're gonna wish him speedy recovery. We're really good with this camp, as you know, Yao. Big up to all those guys at PFASA, the likes of Adrian Sanchez, Mike, and Jess. Those guys, they put in all the work over there. So talking about the card in itself, and especially the main event, the card looks good. I like the co-main. I like the main. I like the main card. The main card's tasty. And some of the up and comers on the on the prelims as well. I'm sure they're going to be putting in good work to try and put their names out there, get noticed, so the spotlight can shine on them as well as some of the guys that they already got on the on the card. So yeah, very good card, very good card, and I'm excited to see this one. I've been salivating about this for quite some time. It's just a shame that we now have the main event that we have. But listen, whenever Terence Balelo's fighting, whenever it's headlining, sign me up, take my money. I'm here, I'm there for it every single time.
100%. And I think, the one thing he said when we spoke to him, and you spoke to him as well, is that he's looking forward to this challenge, this international challenge. He hasn't fought an international fighter as yet, and he feels it's a very good time in his career to go and get this experience, to go and learn what it is to fight someone who's at another level, who fights at another level, someone who's got the same big balls as he does to come in on a short notice. And I always respect short notice fighters, because for me, if you're coming in on short notice, you're probably going to lose. But Terence showed me that I'm wrong about that. So I absolutely love short notice fighters. So let's get into what we have on this card so far. Oh, my screen just disappeared. There we go. So we'll be going through the prelims, of which we have 8 fights on the prelims. The first one we have is Kelvin Smith versus God Knows Ndlovu. I'm not sure if you know much about these fighters. We'll get into them, but I'm really looking forward to this fight. I have a personal story with God Knows and the Smith twins. Absolutely love their stuff. They're also on YouTube. They do Strikes and Strangles. They also have a predictions show as well. So definitely big ups to them. Do follow, like, subscribe. The Strikes and Strangles by the Smith twins. Then we have two fighters I don't know too much about, Chundari and I was about to get that surname really wrong. I'll look at it properly in a second. But it's between Chundari and Omukumbo. And I'm gonna get that right for Thursday night because we are also doing live.
I think it says Omukumbio. Yeah, that's
yes. Thank you, Ola Omukumbio. Yes. Now that one I'm not too sure about. We'll see exactly what the odds say. We'll see what the fighters look like, and we'll give you more information there. Then we've got Mukari versus Gumbi. That's a very tasty one. Lecture Gumbi is a very feisty little fighter. Then we got Ridley versus Floka. Gumikundu versus Zondi, my favorite fighter, as you know, in Tando the Zulu Warrior Zondi. Then we got Makani versus Lele, Mhluli versus Pedro, Emerson Pedro, who I think he got a DQ in his last fight for kick him in the head, but the fight was grounded. So unfortunately lost for him. And then we've got a women's fight, which we don't get very often in the EFC, where we've got gosh, and names escape me. Mugo versus Maiman. Maiman is her debut, and Mugo had fought against Dana Van Veek in her first fight. So that's a very exciting fight. Then the main card, we have, he's actually become, once again, I have so many favorite fighters, as I say. Billy the White Lion Van Rooyen versus Jula. That's going to be an exciting fight. Billy's a very exciting fighter, and Jula's a very experienced fighter, so we'll see how that goes. Then we have the return of Juan Botha versus the Angolan threat in Benedito. It was a little bit calm at the press conference, but you could see that the fighters are probably, they're looking forward to this fight. Haven't fought in a while, and if you look at what the Angolans did at IMAF, they have an absolutely stacked, fantastic MMA sector in practitioners in Angola. I mean, they took the bulk of the medals. They beat South Africa. South Africa came second, but shout out to the IMAF team of Angola. That was fantastic. And then we have Peace, the return of X, Peace Ngupane versus Jimmy Kambata. That's going to be a good
right there.
Getting X back in the hex. X back in the hex.
Yeah.
And then one that I know that we're all excited about, we're both excited about, is Ayanda, the Power, Zwane, versus the one and only Simbarashe Hokonya, the Hawk. The Hawk. Now that fight is very exciting.
A hell of a fight,
right? It's part of the featherweight Grand Prix. So that one could go either way. Really looking forward to that one. And then in the main bout, as much as it's a change from the fight we wanted in Tumelo Manyamala, I think this is a very, very interesting fight. This fight is definitely gonna be tantalizing. People are definitely gonna stand up because whichever way this fight goes, it's gonna be spectacular, and it's gonna bring a result that everyone will be talking about, because then it becomes who is gonna take on in Kazamulo King Shaka. And I mean, King Shaka's he's injured right now, but we're all looking forward to seeing him back in the hex.
Yeah.
With all of that said, let's get into it. First fight of the night, Kelvin Smith versus God Knows Ndlovu. Now, as we can see, God Knows is more experienced than Kelvin. Kelvin's only got one fight in the EFC so far. He's got an exemplary amateur career. How much do you know about these two fighters?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I did look into God Knows, and I know, looking at his fight, he has a lot of finishes on his fight. A lot of his wins have come by finishes, and he won one by DQ as well, if I'm not mistaken. But when you look at his his amateur record as well, there's some really good wins up in there, on his on his amateur record. So, and he's had a lot of fights on his amateur record. 1, 2.
Hello?
Yeah, we got 18, 20 fights, you know, at amateur
Mm.
level, you know, to come into a level where he's at now, and have the type of finishes that he's got. You know, he's got wins by KO, he got wins by submission. He also got one via DQ, where he was you know, kicked in the head while grounded. So that was by DQ on the opponent. So, you know, but the losses he's had as well, you know, they're all coming by submission. So the problem he
Mm.
now has, you know,
On the ground.
exactly. You know, you can't y- to go and fight somebody like a Gift Walker, which they also fought in amateurs, right? If Gift Walker and amateurs and lost to Amber. So, you know, that's a recurring thing. And if I'm Kevin Smith, I would definitely be looking at, you know, taking that option, maybe to upset the apple cart on there. But I am gonna go with God knows, because obviously Kevin Smith, he's only got the one record on his the one win on his record, and I believe God knows has that little bit of experience to try and pull this one off. He's got a lot of reach on him as well. If we're looking at the tail of the
Mm.
tape, what we've got right here in front of
Mm.
us. And yeah, I gotta give big shout out to this tail of the tape graphics you got going on here. It looks absolutely fantastic. Good work, yeah, good work, yeah. You're
And
the
shout
man.
out to Leroy. Thank you so much, Leroy.
Oh fuck Leroy, man.
I think Jordane's gonna love that part. Shout out to
That's for
Rambling
you.
Dad.
That's for you, McDane. That's for you, McDane. Fuck Leroy. No,
Um,
big up
so,
Leroy, man. Big up Leroy.
so yeah, thank you so much for that. Look, it's a tough one. God knows it's tough, and like you said, he's got the reach, he's got the experience. I think let's turn to what the odds say, because looking at the odds also does give insight to where the fight is probably going to go. So let me just,
Mm,
I had this open up early. I think Kelvin was in the slight favorite on this one.
right. Mm, that's interesting.
Come on, odds. Oh,
But
technology,
but
when you need it, it knows.
I can see why though. I can see why, you know, why they've gone with him. So
Okay, there we go.
and this is why I mentioned earlier on in the synopsis that I was giving about both of them. If I was him, you
Actually,
know,
it's dead even.
and I see
The
yes,
odds have it dead even.
yeah, right here that yeah, on the odds one
It's right there.
yeah, 1 to 9, 1 to 9. Um, but if I'm Kelvin, I'm looking at a God knows record. I mean, if there's, you know, I go and get that jiu-jitsu coach. That should be his camp the whole time. The whole fucking preparation for this fight should be jiu-jitsu, learning submissions and how to overcome God knows. But God knows got a variety. He's got submission himself, and he's got KO power. So yeah, we'll see. But I like the fight.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun fight. That's gonna be a fun fight. I'm gonna go with Smith. I'm hopefully gonna start running a odds prediction show, like you guys.
Yeah, man.
And more in terms of, you know, looking at it and doing points. Are you keen on that?
Yeah, of course.
For sure.
Of course, of
Okay.
course.
We're
Why
just
not?
gonna talk about the next fight now, which we will have to do here because my slides are failing me. And that is Francois Chundari versus Christian Omokumbio,
Mm,
Nigerian versus South African. Um, in terms of the tail of the tape, unfortunately, like I said, I don't have the tail of the tape up there, but
no.
Francois has a 2-5 record, and this is Christian's debut. At the age of 28, Chundari's been fighting for some time, and Christian comes in at the age of 25. Chundari is a slightly taller fighter at 184, with Mokombio at 179. That's the tail. Oh, and the reach, yeah, the reach is 187 on Chundari and 175 on Omokombio. The
Mm,
odds have it, no odds. There's no odds in this fight yet. Let's
right.
see what World Sport Betting says. And shout out to World Sport Betting for the best odds on EFC
Big up
fights.
World Sport Betting. Yeah, man. Salute to
That's the
them, man.
one.
And
Best odds on the internet. So, yeah, there's no odds on this one. Oof, this is a tricky one. We've got a debutant versus 2 and 5 with no odds. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah, this
What are you thinking?
yeah, for me, number one, if you know anything about me, Yao, I never go against my countryman. Right? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna try and give a logical explanation here. It might not even be that logical, but I'm gonna try and at least put some logic on it because we have very, very minimal information on these guys, and that's okay because this is still a fight, regardless of what you're thinking. You know, the stats just kind of gives you a guideline to what these guys are gonna probably attempt to do, or at least show you a pattern of what's gonna happen in a fight, right? That's why the stats are there. That's why the style of fight is there, so you can kind of gauge the reasons why they're doing what they're doing in the cage. But for Christian, we don't really have that here. And when we come to Kundari now, we have a pattern, right? 5 in his last 5, and I'm talking losses. 5 losses in the last fight. To me, it looks like EFC is making this a sacrificial lamb for Crystal Omokombio. Yes, I said it. Yeah, he's my countryman, so I am going to go that way. Yeah, it looks like this brother here is like a sacrificial lamb for Christian, right? And I, boy, I'm wishing and hoping because I don't know the outcome of this fight. It's a prediction show after all. I'm going to predict Christian takes this. Let me say, uh, let me say maybe it finds his chin. Yeah, I'm gonna wish that for Christian. I'm gonna wish that for Christian, man. And yeah, I'm gonna go with a KO victory, from Christian in this one. That's how I'm looking at the fight. I'm just looking at the pattern. I don't have anything for Christian. All I got for Francois Kundari is all the losses in his last 5 fights, and that's what I've got to go on, and that's a pattern for me. And if this pattern is there, then
Look,
there's something true about it.
I like your assessment because if you look at Chandari's record, he's on a 5-fight skid, like you said, and that's not a small amount of a skid. Firstly, secondly, I'm, if you look at the names he's lost to, he's lost a lot of the big names. To be honest with you, very good fighters. The guys he's beaten aren't even on the roster though. But on a 5-fight skid, coming out of the EFC, ranked number 169 out of 241 Middle East and Africa, ranked number 24 out of the middleweights out of 26 in South Africa. Sacrificial lamb is what it appears to be, but you always need that fighter to come in, and I wouldn't say gatekeep, but hey, if I can get a win on my record, great. And if this fighter can show that he belongs here, then he does. Let's get it. I wouldn't say Kevin Holland, but okay. I'm going Omokombio by TKO first round.
You're going to TKO first round as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like you
Yep.
said, just look at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. There's not. Oh, that's the only pattern we got. That's all we've got to go on. Like, it's
Unfortunately,
difficult.
his losses.
It's hard not to
Okay,
predict what you just predicted.
It's very hard, very very hard. Okay, then the next fight that we're going to talk about is the fight between Lecture Gumbi, between Lecture Gumbi and oh my god, this first show and Mukari, give him Mukari. Now, this is an interesting fight. Like I said, I know Lecture Gumbi. I've seen him fight a few times, met him a few times, fighting out of Zimbabwe. His moniker is the Mafia, and he's fighting Mukari, who's out of SA, South Africa, who is known as the Son of Egypt. The Son of Egypt. Absolutely love that. So Moses Mukari, well, hence the moniker, the Son of Egypt,
Yep.
fighting against Lecture Gumbi. Now, Imkari is on an 0-1 streak right now. He's 22, still young. So, he's got time, so that doesn't say too much. Then Lecture Gumbi, he is on 1-2. I think I've seen all of his. I've missed one, but I've seen him fight a few times. So this is an interesting one. It looks like it's looking at the middle of the bantamweight division, looking to see who might be a potential contender to the top contenders, because you don't want what's happened now with the featherweight division where only Igu was there. The only person that you could fight or Igu had no one to fight. So they now had to do the Grand Prix. So maybe they're trying to do this to make sure that they can keep these fighters active, get them better records, see who's really training and worth it, and gaining the experience to then have a stacked bantamweight division. Because I think Graham Cartmel said it at the press conference yesterday that the featherweight and bantamweight divisions of the EFC have suddenly become stacked, absolutely stacked, whereas the welterweight, one of their former well-performing divisions, has suddenly dropped off. There just aren't enough fighters. So I think this is just a way of making sure that in the long run, that division is solidified. So it's quite interesting to see this one. Which way are you going? What are your thoughts?
I mean, this one here is a little bit tricky. It's much more trickier than the Kundari fight with Christian. But when you look at this one, Godfrey seems to he seems to know how to take the fight, to the judges, to all the way to a distance. He goes the distance in the few of his fights. It's had a good amateur career up until like going pro, right? Maybe he only had like one loss in his in his amateur against Zondi, to against in Tando Zondi. So and that's not a bad. That's the only loss he had in his amateur career. So, but then going up now, in his last couple fights, he's lost to 0-0 and lost to 2-0. So, but one thing that is he's been there with quality and experienced fighters, and that goes a long way in the cage, especially when you're trying to maneuver your way. Both coming off of 2 losses. So this is why this one is actually tricky, because one of these guys has to win, not to end up on a 3-fight skid. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky here. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Moses. I'm gonna go with Moses on this one.
Okay, you're going with the Son of Egypt. It's tricky. So let's see what the odds say. World Sport Betting, thank you for the odds. World Sport Betting says 1.95 to 1.85 in favor of Mkari. So the Son of Egypt is ahead in the odds, but it's very close, very, very close.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the experience with the sort of fighters he's been in there with, that's probably shifted that odds a little bit, because like I said, they're both coming off two fight loss.
And now I'm just thinking, because I've seen Gumbi fight, and I think his last fight was a win, and I've seen the improvement. He has improved since his first few fights. So I think I'm gonna go lecture Gumbi distance, like you said, the distance on this one to the judges. Either I think probably split. But yeah, lecture Gumbi split all 3 rounds.
Okay.
What do you think? Wait, Mukari by judges, you said?
Yeah, I've gone with Moses by decision.
By decision. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay. Then the next fight we actually do have is, there we go. Now we've got some graphics back. Caleb Ridley versus Impo Shoka. Now, looking at this fight, I think Caleb Riley has come in from the UK to come and improve his record, taking on a debutant who clearly needed a fight, couldn't find a fight at featherweight, which is weird, or because it's the featherweight division's got lots of fighters. But it's interesting to see some international blood, some new international blood coming in to the UFC, and it's looking like there's more international fighters, not just from Africa, but from outside of Africa and Brazil very specifically, because there's lots of Brazilians that come across, but there's fighters coming from other countries now. We have had a history of UK fighters, for example, Joe Cummings, the former welterweight champion who disappeared and never defended his title and held the title up for years and years. So I'm hoping that, having these international fighters doesn't hinder the progress of the divisions in the EFC, because you do have that risk where divisions get held up, belts get held up by fighters that just aren't accessible, and it's not always easy to strip a fighter. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go with
just to chime in on that little point there that you said about international fighters coming in and not being able to come back to defend the belt, because I'm very, very aware of the situation with EFC, where before, when the international fighters used to come in. Salute to Mark Owen is fighting in PFL this weekend. Make sure you're tuning in. Mark Owen is gonna be fighting this weekend, man. And he used to fight in the EFC in the lightweight division, Mark Owen. And I understand that EFC used to pay for their travel from wherever it is they're coming from around the world, but they stopped doing that. So when these fighters come in, they come in off their own pay, and when they do, to keep coming back. We also know another brother that fought in the EFC from Canada. He's on the Ultimate Fighter now. Theo Caris, the Greek warrior. He fought in the EFC, and he went to a couple of regional fights over there in Canada, and he made his way to the UFC, and is in the Ultimate Fighter now under Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso. We're gonna be seeing that at some point this month, I believe. So, and these are the one thing that these guys universally said when I spoke to them. That it's just something that EFC stopped doing. Paying for the travels of these international fighters, which makes it difficult for them to then pick up and come and defend. If their win purse, it's gonna be as much as it's gonna cost them to travel to South Africa. So, it can't. Yeah, these guys are still prize fighters at the end of the day. So, just in their defense, I clear that up for the people.
Okay. So I didn't know that. That is very interesting. And I can definitely say COVID hit EFC a little bit hard. COVID changed the game, and then they switched to the PI model, like the UFC has, but they didn't. So they haven't really been going out. So they did cut things, but they have said that they are looking to go somewhere else in Africa to have fights. So at least that'll start taking the fight to the different countries, two different regions, rather than then being stuck in South Africa. And that might make it easier for international champions to actually come back, or maybe that might even change the payment structure and what they cover. So yeah, let's see what happens with that. I'm not too sure.
There's nothing better like new money, man. New money. There's nothing wrong like new money. New money is always good, bro.
Nothing wrong like new money.
Make some new money.
Okay. To everyone listening, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Do smash up the likes, please. Do smash up the likes and send the link to anyone that's interested in the EFC and wants to know who is going to win this Thursday. Anyone who's looking to bet, don't forget World Sport Betting, best betting platform for the EFC and all EFC fights. No, they are not our sponsors. World Sport Betting, please sponsor us. We've been asking. We're waiting. Please, yes, let's go. We're ready. Okay. Then the next fight we have on the card. Oh wait, have you picked? I'm going with Caleb Riley.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
It's coming out of the UK, coming out of the United Kingdom, and yeah, we're gonna ride for him. Caleb Riley. It looks to me It looks to me, obviously, looking at his record there, Loka is definitely good. Well, he's coming as a debutant, and yeah, I don't see this fight even going the distance here. I'm gonna pick Caleb Riley, maybe second round finish. I'll say second round finish.
So, but okay, here's a curious question.
Caleb
As
Ridley,
much as
not
he's
Riley.
0 and
Ridley.
0 and the odds have Riley, why would Clocker take this fight as his debut? That's a very interesting career decision to take a fight like this as a debut. What do you think the mindset is there? What do you think the thought process is
Oh, no,
there?
number one for me, when fighters are taking fights, I look at their team first before the fighter, right? It's usually their team and it's and the people that that works with him. Maybe if he has a manager or even a coach, and they look at the fight and they think they can adequately prepare for Killer Ridley and his skill sets. And there's it's not just what they're thinking. A lot of self confidence has got to come into it as well. And these guys have got to go out and back themselves. And if the coach is giving them the confidence and say, "Hey, listen, this is a good fight. I think we can game plan properly for Killer Ridley. And I think your skill set can match him. It looks like you got everything better than him. Your height, your reach, yeah, albeit you considerable underdog, but we think we can definitely give the game plan to go and beat him. So that's the reason. That's the one reason I feel he's probably found himself, in the cage with in the hex with Caleb Ridley. So yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell. 2 days.
2 days, 2 days, but today we are talking about the. Oh wait, we've already done these two. Switching it up a little bit. The next fight we are talking about is my favorite fighter, our favorite fighter. Absolutely love the guy. As I always say, Intando the Zulu Warriors Zondi coming into this. Now, unfortunately, the EFC has the wrong stats because we do know he won his first fight, his debut fight at EFC 112
Yep.
by liver kick.
Yep.
Amazing. Coming up against a
All
slightly more experienced fighter in Martin Tuminkondo. Now, Martin's 2-3. He's coming off a loss. How do you see this fight going, knowing what we know about Intando the Zulu Warrior and Martin? I think I must also just commend Intando. I know that he trains with more than one gym. He trains with Team CIT, trains with Drickus, still Knox Duplessis, the one and only. He trains with Nick Kwende. He trains with Sylvester Shifambu, Hawk, Simbarashe Hokonya at Corvus as well. So he trains with Demar Pena. He trains
right.
with a lot of the best fighters, former champions, locally and internationally. I mean, Demar Pena is a former Aries bantamweight champion. Sylvester Shifambu, Nick Wender, former bantamweight champions of the EFC. So I think this is him definitely building his record, showing that he is a good fighter. Might I say he's also a former Muay Thai champion.
Mm.
So he's really looking forward to this fight. He's looking to actually showcase, and I think I chatted to him a few weeks ago. He's looking to showcase his wrestling in this one, show that he's not just a striker, he's not just an amazing Muay Thai practitioner. He's also a great grappler, an all-round fighter, a well-rounded fighter. So I'm looking forward to see what he's going to be able to do against Martin Kundu. How are you feeling about this fight?
Yeah, I like this fight a lot. I think this is going to be really really good for Zondi, especially when you're talking about him showcasing his grappling and his ground game. On this opponent, we've seen this opponent has been in there, you know, with the likes of Johannes Rudolph, and he got submitted again. Another fighter that has a pattern, and even lost by submission to Terence Balelo. You know, Triple B, Big Balls Balelo. This brother
One
here
and only.
still lost by submission to him. So I'm expecting Zondi to really go out there, put that work in, and drag him into deep waters, and eventually finish him again, probably by submission. But I think we're going to see a finish in this fight again, because the way Zondi has been moving, you could see his last couple of fights. They've all been finishes, and and Martin here, his last couple of fights, is lost to finishes by submission. So let's see what Zondi can give the fans here, and hopefully we'll see a different kind of finish from Zondi here on Thursday.
So the odds are echoing your words. The odds have it Zondi 1.36 to Tliminkondo 3.1. So, sheesh. Yeah, I think Nintendo's definitely got this one as per the odds. I say first round finish, submission or TKO. I think I'm gonna go with TKO. First round TKO. Ntando Zulu Warrior Zondi. If you want to make your money, first round Ntando Zondi definitely. Then the next fight we have, yeah.
No. I was just saying, you know, I think the odds makers I think they're probably right on this one. So
they definitely got that one. Then the next fight we have is David the Wolf Makane versus, and I'll give you his moniker in a second, the Glory of Torture. Absolutely love it. Perfect nickname. The Glory of Torture. His first name is escaping me. It is Tebatso, the Glory of Torture Mulele. Interesting fight. Once again, we're looking at the flyweight divisions. This is a card with your lighter fighters. There aren't many big fighters or any big fighters on this card. It looks like they're focusing very intensely on bantamweight and featherweight, which is quite interesting because I know they are struggling higher up in the weights. They're struggling to find fighters who are at welterweight, middleweight, and heavyweights.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with the heavyweight at the moment, man. Like Triple H ain't seen the X in a while, bro. Like, come on, where are the opponents?
So I saw Triple H bare knuckle. He's now the bare knuckle TBK bare knuckle champion of South Africa, heavyweight bare knuckle champion. And my goodness, I was there. Man. The damage he did, the damage to the face of his opponent.
No surprise there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised he's there. We all know that the terms in boxing in general are better. Specifically, right now, everyone's got bare knuckle is an option in terms of fighters, so everyone's is loving that. Okay, so who are we going with on this one? We've got, the Glory of Torture versus the Wolf. 1-on-1 versus 1-2. They are similarly sized. The tail of the tape says that Mulele's got the additional reach, extra height. Yeah. So Orthodox versus Southpaw.
This one is a little interesting. This is more of a toss of a coin for me because of both of these guys have got quite decent wins in the cage. But if I'm gonna lean somewhere, this is more of a toss of coin for me. And I don't know about Molele that much. With Makane, I think he can go in there and definitely do a job to get the W on this one. I think this one here will be going to David Makane here by decision. I think this fight is going to go to decision. Is going to go to the judges. His last win coming off the judge, and Molele coming off a loss by decision as well. I think this one is definitely going to go to the judges, and I'm inclined to give it to Makane. So yeah, I'll be saying Makane by decision here.
Makane by decision. I think I just want to turn again to how interesting it is that there are so many flyweight and bantamweight and featherweight fights happening in the EFC. This one is tricky, like you said, though. I think for me, I'm gonna go with the Glory of Torture, honestly, because I like the name. That's the honest truth at this point. It resonates a little bit, especially going up against the Wolf. if I have to just pick some reason that I'll pick one or the other, that's the reason. Despite the fact that they're both coming off losses, I'm taking Makane. Sorry, not Makane. I'm taking Mulele because he lost to Willie van Rooyen. As I said, love Willie van Rooyen. Willie van Rooyen he's a savage. That kid is insane. Fighting out of kicking what's it called? Kicking Stars out in Pretoria. Mamlodi, I can't remember. It's kicking something out in Pretoria.
Yeah.
Fantastic gym. They have great fighters. So yeah, I absolutely love Willie van Rooyen. So for that reason, I'm going with him simply because he lost to Willie van Rooyen and the glory of torture. Why not? So that's that fight. Looking forward to that one. Next one we have. I've run out of slides. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I think I have more slides. No, I do not. We shall revert to this one for the interim.
Yeah, let's read it. Read it out.
We are on Mhluli versus Pedro. Actually, no. Let's continue chatting about this fight real quick. Let's see one that's more interesting than this to quickly. Yeah, let's just chat on this one very quickly whilst I just pull up these slides. So one thing that's interesting about in Tando Zondi is I've actually run out of things to say. I need to get this slide. Let's just move on to that fight.
No. For me, like you were saying about Zondi, right? It's more of the quality of fighters that he's seen, and even when you look at his debut in the when you look at his debut in the EFC, you know, he came up trumps and he delivered well. I thought you know, he's gonna be a very, very exciting fighter. He's gonna be a fan favorite, and his style of fighting as well, his charisma, and his delivery on the mic. I think everything is poised for this brother. If he carries on going in the trajectory that he's going, everything is poised for him to really, really do well in this sport. And yeah, he's got a bright future ahead of him, and he's one that definitely we're going to be keeping an eye on the Fight Week show to speak to at some point. 100%.
Yeah, I'll be honest, he's difficult to get a hold of. I only ever see him in person. It's tricky to get him on, but yeah, you definitely will be speaking to him.
When we have Yao, nothing is impossible, bro. Like, come on, dog.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And the impossible has happened. We have the next fight on the screen finally. Okay. The next fight we have is Emerson Pedro. Like I said, Pedro lost in his last fight by head kick loss, and he's going against the Kingslayer, who's coming off a win in his debut. So I'm really looking forward to this fight, especially because Pedro trains with the Hitman, Cole Henning. He trains with Cole Henning, who's had an unfortunate run of fights recently. He's had some tough fights. He's lost to Humphrey Mulenga, one of the best, one of my favorite fighters. Looking forward to seeing him in the UFC very soon. So he's had, and then he obviously lost the last title fight. So he's had a tough string of fights. But Cole Henning's an absolutely savage beast. He's a monster, and he trains with him. Pedro Emerson trains with him at Hitman Academy. So looking forward to him fighting again. And as I said, he's fighting Timna Mhluli. Give me a second. You didn't think I live in South Africa. Mhlawuli. There we go. Mhlawuli. Got it. Timna Mhlawuli.
Yes, you didn't do bad there, man. You did good. You did good. You know what I mean? Imagine Hotso and how it's got to be perfect when he's calling these guys' names out, man. Oof. Boy, it just goes to show you. Shout out to Hotso. That brother there, the job he does. I mean, just pronouncing this, just looking at these names hurt my eyes sometimes by trying to read them. It's crazy. And Hotso Bilal Ramopo, just makes it look easy every time he holds the mic in the X. Salute to Hotso. Big up to him.
Big ups to Khoto Ramal. Khoto Bilal
Belara Mopo.
Ramopo.
Yeah, man.
Follow him on Instagram. His stuff is absolutely hilarious. He's got the
He's
funniest memes.
funny. He's
He's
funny
also
as fuck.
too much. And he's also the announcer for the South African national netball team. So wherever they traveled, whenever there's events here, he was the announcer and MC at the Netball World Cup that occurred. I think it was earlier this year. So shout out to Khoto. Now back to the fight. Pedro, Emerson Pedro, the coolest kid, one of our biggest fans on Instagram. Absolutely love his stuff as well. How are you seeing this fight going? Obviously, him having come off that loss, an unfortunate one, fighting against a very hungry young Mtluli who's 1-0 and looking good.
For me, I only see this going one way, man. I think this is going to Timna. You know, the people that Timna you mentioned, who he's been training with, people like Humphrey Mulenga, and those guys over there. I think I saw at one point Temba Gorimbo even popped up there to go and do some work with these guys in the gym and put a word out for them for some support, so that's one of the good things with him now. Is the team that he surrounded himself around, and I'm looking at his amateur record as well, and I think it stacks a lot better than what Pedro Emerson's had to offer when you look at Pedro Emerson's amateur career. And that's that. I'm not saying Emerson Pedro is a bad fighter, but even took a loss against Ayanda the Power, Zwane, and it's not a shame taking a loss against a man, because when you look at where Ayanda is right now, it absolutely shows you, the type of talent that Emerson is seeing as well. So, but for me, I'm leaning towards Timna for this one. I think Timna is going to get this one done. I would say I would say decision. I'll say Timna gets this one by decision.
Honestly, it's a tough one. This one's a very tough one. But if I look at the height advantage, the reach advantage, and everything you've just mentioned, he's ambidextrous, so he can go left, he can go right. I think I have to go with you on this one. Additionally, if I look at it, the odds have it for him as well, 155 to 245. I'm going to go Timna on this one. Definitely the Kingslayer is going to slay one of my favorite fighters. As always, I have so many. Emerson Pedro. But yeah, I think I'm with you on this one. Now, wait. I want to backtrack. Okay? Can I backtrack?
Yeah,
I know it's
please.
not fair to backtrack, but I want to backtrack.
Moonwalk away.
Can we go back to, wait, where's Mulele gone? This fight.
Yeah, there is.
I went with Mulele and I just checked the odds, and we didn't give the odds to that fight. And that fight have Makane strongly in favor at, where are these odds gone now? Oh goodness. It's there and then it's gone. I can't blame technology, I'll blame my eyes. It's 150 to 255 in favor of Dave Makane. So I think I'm going to go Makane on this one, not Mulele, as I said. Yeah.
Okay.
That's big enough for me to switch.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my.
How
I'm
about
sticking
you?
with my original. I was gonna stick with my original pick. I did pick Makane, and I think he's gonna get it done as well. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with my original pick.
Yeah, I flip flopped. I'm call me who do they call a flip flop? Whoever you call a flip flop. Okay, next fight. The next fight, the women's fight. Thank goodness we have a women's fight. We haven't had a women's fight in a while in the EFC, so I'm very excited. We have the return of Felista Mugo. She's returning off a loss to Nicole Van Veek. a few EFCs ago. So good to have her back in the EFC. It's not easy to find female competition around here. So definitely excited to have her back in the EFC, and she is fighting against Anisha Mayman. Now, Anisha Mayman's coming off a win. Her last fight was a win, but that was an amateurs. She doesn't have a professional win. She's on 0-0. So very interesting to see these two going up against each other. How are you feeling about this fight?
This one here, I'm gonna make this one very quick. I think with Mayman, and her getting a debut coming into this fight, I think maybe this might be the wrong time to catch Felix Tamugo. Just coming off a win against a very, very good fighter as well in Precious Oko. Um, to have her in to finish her in the way that she finished her. Uh, Crucifix is one of my favorite techniques, especially in women's MMA. And we've seen it even at top level be used to devastating effect. And Mugo was able to use that technique against Precious Oko. Um, to back the win. So I think this might come a little bit too early for Mayman. I'm gonna stick with Felice Tamugo here to carry on with the win streak, and possibly
No, she's on a losing streak.
no, it's yeah, she got a win here. Her last fight was 2 months ago
Fish the Mugo.
against Precious Oko. Her last fight was two
Am I
couple months
looking at
ago.
the wait? Oh, oh, snap. Oh, Nicole was wait. How did I? Oh, it was at WSC. That's why. Okay, sorry. Yes, the last
Yeah,
fight I did see her at was against Nicole Van Veek, which she lost, and then she went on to beat Precious
yeah,
Oko. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
That
You're
was
right.
about
So
a
she's
year
one and
ago.
two.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
She's 1 and 2. Yes.
so you're going with her.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Mugo
I'll make
to
mine.
carry on the streak.
I'll make mine even shorter. 1.36 to 3.10. I'm going Mayman. Yeah,
Okay.
the odds for me, it might be her debut, but if I have a look at her, if I look at the fact that she's an MMA amateur world champion, so she's very decorated where it comes to her amateur career. Not that decorated. It's one fight. Damn, she's only got one fight. I think I might switch. These odds don't. I don't think these odds are.
Exactly my point. 'Cause I checked. I did check her amateur record, and
Mm,
yeah, there's nothing there. Just the one fight. So for me, that's not enough, which is why I said she might be catching Mugo at the wrong time. When and you look at the type of people that Mugo's for, she's got some experience there fighting against somebody like a Van Wick. It's not
mm,
easy, So
mm.
that and even in losses, you have to respect certain fighters when they take it to their opponent, and she did. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with
Yeah, and
Mugo.
it's not easy to do a crucifix. You have to be talented and skilled to pull off a crucifix. So
Yeah, and
okay,
it's who
I
you do
think I'm
it
with
to as
you.
well in a precious Oko. It's who you do it to as well, and that to me carries a lot of weight, which is why I've gone with Mugo. Anyways, this is your pick. This is your pick, not my pick. My pick is done. So you were saying, Mayman?
Okay, here I go with my flip floppy ways again. I think I'm gonna go with Mugo. Oh wait, goodness, Ola, now you put me under emotional pressure. I promise. Like,
Good,
okay,
because this is
um,
if we start doing this point scoring competition prediction thing, this is the kind of pressure you're gonna feel every time, cause bro,
and
I'm
worse, I'm sure.
competitive like that.
Okay. Oh, I muted you, not myself. Damn. So everyone heard me coughing. Excellent. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go Mugo. Let's go Mugo. I agree. I think the experience will shine through on this one, and she will beat Mayman by decision, split. Now, the next fight we have is one that sees an international fighter from Angola fighting a returning South African, should I call him superstar, MMA star. It's Osvaldo Benedito versus Hanru Bota. Now, that's an interesting fight. This one, I'm going to start with the odds. It has Hanru at 1.65 and Benedito at 2.25. So they are rather heavily stacked in the favor of Osvaldo Benedito. How are you feeling about this fight?
This one here, I can see why. I can see why. The odds are stacked against Benedito. Without giving too much synopsis on that, I'm gonna go with Benedito on this. I think he can get the job done. Um, you know, it does have power, and his ground game is right up there as well. So for me, his last couple wins coming by finishes, submission against Carmon Coulson, and it was a 3-1 by the way, and the KO finish against Robert Swanepoel. And Robert Swanepoel, he's been around the hex for a long time. So to go in the X and beat somebody like Robert Swanepoel, you've got to do
The
something.
first round.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do something really, really, really fucking crazy. So yeah, Benedito here for me for sure. I'm going to be going with Benedito here.
Yeah, so Hanru last fought, well, he's got some international experience. He fought at Brave 19. Now, that's a long time ago. I think he's been off for, sheesh, I think it said 8 years, something ridiculous, because the last EFC he fought at was 56, where he lost to Ige Cabeza, the featherweight GOAT.
Yeah.
So, I mean, coming back after all those years, it's been many, many years. I think the rust is going to show. The rust is definitely going to show. Even if you look at his record in the last 5 fights, he's got 2 wins in his last 5. That's 3 losses. So yeah, I think definitely Benedito. He's got the record. I saw him at the press conference. He seems focused enough. He is a former IMAF champion, multiple time IMAF champion. So yeah, I think definitely. I mean, like you said, Robert Swanepoel. So I think definitely Benedito for the win on this one. That's going to be a fun fight. I think this might actually be one of the fights of the night, or performance bonus or something, because yeah, it looks like it should be a good fight. It should be a fun fight.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I didn't say where I'm going. I did. Benedito. Cool.
Yeah, you did say
Now
Benedito. Yeah.
we have X Peace, the return of Peace X Ingupani. He is coming up against Jimmy Bambata. And the last time, Jerry Kambata. Jimmy Bambata. Jerry Kambata. And the last time we saw Peace was when he was looking to secure the welterweight title against Mark Hume, who defeated him. Yes, who defeated him devastatingly. But Peace always bounces back. Peace is an amazing fighter, an absolute crowd favorite, always in his suits. His dad is always there to support him. Fantastic fighter. So I'm really looking forward to him going up against Jerry Kambata. It's going to be an interesting fight. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I mean, Peace is a friend. Is a friend of our channel, and salute to those guys over there in House of Tinkerbell. The likes of Gift Walker and Peace himself, and sometimes even Blammy Shadrach goes over there and dances with them and trains with them sometimes. You know what I mean? So they got a good thing going over there. In that gym. So, Peace, he came up short in the last fight. He came up short. But is when you talk to Peace and you know the mentality about that guy and his journey into MMA, you know, it doesn't strike me as the type of person to give up, and he's definitely looking to bounce back, and I think he's gonna bounce back big time. In this fighter, I think he's gonna prove to everybody why he's one of the best welterweights, on the roster. And I truly believe that. So yeah, I am definitely going to be going with Peace here. When you look at some of his wins against Given Majuba, Johan van Staden, Bruno Mukulu, the list goes on, and he's got a decent amateur record as well. So these are all the things that bodes well, and I keep referring back to one of the fighters that we said, trains on from Mulenga earlier on. It's the people you have around you. It's your camp that kind of defines how you really go out there and go about your business. And Peace definitely has a good set of corners around him, and yeah, I think he's gonna do well in this fight, and yeah, I'm expecting him to go out there, and yeah, probably second round finish. I'd say.
So as much as I said we don't have much depth, this is a welterweight fight. There are still fights in the welterweight division. We did have Zakir Badat capturing the vacant welterweight title at the last EFC 113. The title that was vacated by Mark Hume when he went to the Tough House, of which, like you said, you've got someone in the Tough House. We've got Rudy and Mark in the Tough House, so it'll be fun to see them. Actually, we saw Rudy at 113. He was actually there when Igor defended.
Yes.
So it was interesting to see him coming back home after being the Tough House. But yeah, I think the amateur experience of Peace is going to shine through because he's got an insanely stellar amateur career before turning pro. Whereas Kambata is on a 3-fight win streak. He's got 3 wins. He's 3-0. So please ignore the O that's there, everyone listening. Kambata is on a 3-0. He actually fought at the Inugo Mega Cage fight WSC 10, which is the same card that the female fighter Felista Mugo had fought on. So it looks like they actually probably came together. They might know each other. I don't know, but he's from the Congo. She's from Kenya. But as we know, the Congo threat is always there. Guys from the DRC, the fighters from the DRC always come through with this unexpected threat. And I think that might play a role here to make it a tougher fight for Peace than we think. But I agree with you. I think Peace gets it done in the second TKO.
Yeah,
and
man,
the
I
odds
like
say,
it.
yeah, the odds say they don't know. The odds say it's 1.9 to 1.9. It's dead even. So they don't have a clue in terms of the odds, but definitely go Peace. If you want to make a little bit of money, World Sport betting, don't forget to bet on World Sport betting with the best odds for the EFC. Definitely go Peace in the second round. TKO submission. Wait, Peace. I think Peace might be submission. If I think about JP Kruger, like you said, if I think about Gift Walker, JP Kruger, the camp that he's in, submission second round, not TKO. Actually,
Yeah.
submission first round because Congolese fighters are notoriously bad on the ground. As the one place they generally do well. So I actually go
Yeah.
Peace submission first round.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll still in my second round finish. I think. Yeah.
And now we get to the first big one, I guess, the co-main event. Oh my God! It says Balelo versus Ramani. Oh Jesus Christ! Wait.
Oh, it's all right. We know we're there.
Okay, this
We know
on
we're
the
there.
left
We know
we
we're
have
there.
Ayanda, the Power Zwane versus Simbarashe Hokonya, the Hawk. Now, this featherweight Grand Prix has been one in the making since EFC 112, where both men have been going at different opponents. We have Ayanda Power who fought against. Yes.
I was just gonna say, you know what? Can we see if do you have like a EFC screenshot for
Yes. Of this fight?
fight here?
No.
Yeah. No.
Let me pull that up. Let me do that.
Yeah. We don't really want to offend the two guys that we know with the name wrong on the
Yeah.
screen.
That,
You know what I
let,
mean?
let me even actually get rid
They
of that.
will have us for that. They will have us for that, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. let's switch back to that. Let's chat about Peace for another minute or so, and let me just pull that up. So I know I did chat to Peace right after his unfortunate rear naked choke loss to Mark Hume. That's the night he actually signed our flag, which will be up behind me sometime soon. But yeah, I think the one thing about Peace is how calm he was. You could see that, you know, it's not a loss that he wanted to suffer at all, but he understood what happened. He understood that he had been beaten by a man who was better on the night in the form of Mark Hume, Frankenstein. So it was good to see someone who loses in the title fight but still goes out, not with a smile, but you know, with the right charisma, right demeanor of, listen, I know it's a fight, it happens. I'll be back, and I know I'll be back better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it takes a different kind of, like I said, mentality. It's a mentality that, you know, that one of the things that I see and speak to about peace, and is relentless mind in the pursuit of success in this sport. I mean, in his mind is on the right track, and that loss against Mark was never gonna define him. You know, it was always gonna come back and put things right, because the aim for him is still to fight in the big time. It's still to fight for one of these top promotions that's, you know, that's out there. Whether it's Bellator, whether it's PFL, whether, you know, whether it's the UFC, he wants to fight in one of these promotions, and I think he can hang with some of the best fighters out there, um, outside of South Africa. But he
Yeah.
needs to put that run of win together to really yeah
Solidify his career.
yeah
So what?
to really reach the pinnacle of where he wants to get to, and I think he'll get there, and I really think so. He'll get there.
So, what are your thoughts on, as I just mentioned, what I'd like to call the Congolese threat? As we know, there's a lot of very prominent Congolese fighters in the EFC
Mm.
who are very dominant, generally very dominant. Whenever they fight, it's always a good fight. What's your view on Congolese fighters in the EFC?
I mean, look, I like how they go about their business, and you know, we're very close with one in Blaming Shadrach, that, you know, I mentioned him earlier on. You know, he came up short in his last fight, and but generally, I think they're really good at what they do. Really good, really skill set. I mean, their skill set is right up there. We talked about Triple H, uh, Jakasa earlier on, you know, and he's from the DRC. So, you know, these guys, they got some fighters there, man. They got some fighters coming out of the DRC. So yeah, I definitely like what they do.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think if we take one of the former champions, quite a few of the former champions, we've got the Gorilla. Gosh, how's his name escaping me? I see him at all the EFC events, and he's always so cordial. His English isn't the best, apparently. We'd love to get him on the show. Makengele, Zico Makengele. Absolutely
Mhm.
love him. He's such an intense dude, like so intense. We have, it's coming to me. He lost against Triple H for the last heavyweight title. And I always call him my favorite fighter. Van Damme.
Oh yes,
Yes,
Van Damme.
Van Damme.
Yes, that was
Yes, the one
the
and only
build
Van
up to that fight. I still say is one of the craziest build up in EFC heavyweight history, brother. I mean, that shit was insane between both of them. Absolutely insane.
I think not just the build up, but then the end, post fight, where Elvis Moyo essentially was screaming all sorts of things at Triple H, the new champion, Triple H Jakasa, through the cage, and Jakasa went over to the cage, punched the cage, and then Van Damme smashed Triple H from the back, right in front of the entire crowd, right in front of the entire world. And Triple H turned around, and it was almost a fight after the fight. And then the arena got cleared out. It was absolutely fantastic. It's well, not fantastic, but it was something to see. It was a sight to behold, I must say. The EFC has definitely taken a lot of security steps since then to ensure that fighters don't have those sorts of issues after the fight, and that the audience is always safe, because there have been some safety issues where certain fighters have lost, and their supporters in one incident were throwing chairs into the cage and all kinds of crazy things. So it's good that all that's now under control. We've got another Congolese fighter coming in the form of Jerry Kambata versus Pisingupani, but I think we can finally get to the co-main event, the one that we've been waiting for. We have spoken to both men. Ah, oh my God. Oh, Lord Jesus. Hey, the names are correct. Yay. In the featherweight Grand Prix, we have Ayanda, the Power Zwane, versus Simbarashe, the Hawk, Hokonya. Very exciting fight. Very, very, very exciting fight. As we mentioned, why are you there, Terence? Oh, Lord Jesus. Where are their stats? I swear I put their stats in here. Oh, Ola, I'm sorry. So we'll have to talk about their stats then. I thought I put their stats in.
No, that's
So
cool.
these two fighters, very, very, very skilled fighters. They have fought before. Ayanda the Power Zwane is at 4-1. The one on his record is against the man he stands across from in the
Yeah.
hex, Simbarashe Hokonya. He's looking to get that O back. He's hungry to get that O back. He said in the press conference that's what he wants to do, is get that O back. And the response from his opponent, the Hawk, was, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're always just talking. Do something in the cage. That was the most exciting thing that happened at the press conference that happened yesterday, was the interaction, the engagement between these two over their featherweight Grand Prix final fight, in a fight that takes them to be the next person to fight the one and only, as we said before, the one and only Igor Cabeza, Smiley Cabeza.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this fight? Everyone
Um,
listening, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash the likes up, smash the likes up. Don't forget to follow the Fight Week show. My man Ola down there. Thank you. Big ups Ola for making the show. Our first show. Thank you. And it's absolutely fantastic here with you. But smash up the likes, everyone, please. Ola, go for it.
yeah, man. Ayanda, we had him on our latest Dust Up Shakedown. And Dust Up Shakedown episode, people, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out on the Fight Week show. And Ayanda is very, very determined that he's going to get his hands raised in this fight. He felt that there were certain things that the Hawk had on him, and they've gone back and looked at it, and they think they can rectify that mistake. In his own words, he said they let the Hawk win. I don't really know what that means, but I don't want to take it literal as well. But I think maybe he thinks he gave up some positions that that indeed gave Hawk the advantage in those positions, and he took advantage of them to secure the win on that. And he's saying he's not going to make that mistake again, and he's ready to go in there and absolutely show that the Hawk does not belong in there with him. And whilst I take all of that on face value from Ayanda Zwane, um, I think the Hawk comes with his own set of problems when it comes to fighting, especially an opponent that you already know you got to win over. There's that extra confidence, there's that extra arrogance, there's that extra belief, that extra. I know I can do this. I've taken this guy's best shot. I've been in there with him, and I know I can get this done. So the Hawk has got to be having that going through his mind, going through his veins, and rightfully so. But Ayanda is not the same fighter he fought that first time. Ayanda's grown a lot. We've seen his growth fight by fight in the EFC, and I believe if I was to pick right now, I will be backing Ayanda on this. And like I said to Ayanda the other day as well, there's one thing that you just don't buy. You can't train for. You can't get anywhere. Is the heart, and this brother's got heart. And I did mention to him, Leroy pointed that out to me. You know what I mean? So I gave him the little credit for that, the bastard. But yes, it's gonna be Ayanda for me, man. And I think Ayanda's gonna get this one done.
I'll be honest, this fight gives me a lot of conflict because of everything you've just said. I was there at the first time the Hawk fought. I was there. It was my first weigh-ins at the EFC, and there's one picture I have, and for the life of me, I don't know what happened to those pictures from that first weigh-in because I've been wanting to use it. But there's this picture I have of the Hawk. If you look at the man's six-pack when he's flexing, it looks like a face, a very angry, determined face.
That's conditioning, bro.
That's conditioning. And it blows my mind every time I see it because it is consistent. Then we've got Ayanda Zwane. I saw him fighting against Steven Gonzalez and Guts, and that was an absolutely static fight. It's that electric fight. Sorry, an electric fight. What do the odds say? For me, it's a coin toss because I like both fighters so much. See, the odds favor Simbarashe. 1.55 to 2.45. It's so tight. I think with this one, I might have to succeed to the odds simply because it's so difficult for me to make a decision on this one. So I'm gonna go with the odds. I'm gonna go with Simba. But how? I see, that's the tricky part. I don't know his road to victory. Like I don't have a path to victory in mind, and that worries me because then am I making the right decision? But let's just go with the odds. I'm gonna go with the odds. And yeah, I'm gonna go with what's his name? Simbarashe Hokonya in this one. Big ups to Nick the Saint. Yeah, I think going back to camps, he's also, like I said, trains currently with the best bantamweights in the region. So I think that hopefully will give him some form of an edge as well, and that's probably why the odds are in his favor because he's got that sort of pedigree working with him right now. So yeah, I think for that reason, I'm going to go with the Hawk at EFC 114.
Okay.
So Ayanda the Power, he trains out there with Luke Michael in Cape Town, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. World sport betting should be fucking ashamed of you right now. Betting against one of theirs. You know what I mean? World sport betting.
I'm not betting. So the reason
you're going with the odds. You're going with the odds.
So the reason I mentioned Luke Michael, look, Simba. Let's put it this way: Simba's literally
you walked right
down
into that one, didn't you? You walked right into that one, yo. Let me see you get yourself out of this one. Go on.
So here is my response: Luke Michael, the former middleweight champion. Hopefully he gets a rematch soon. He's got his picks because he is a World Sport Betting ambassador. He and Dricus du Plessis both are World Sport Betting ambassadors. So if you do go onto World Sport Betting, you will see their picks. You will see their odds of which fights they think will make the best fights on the night. And I think I'll start with the one that he's got at the top of his list as the spread. And if you go for the spread, it's 4 fights. You parlay this and you make 12 times the money that you put in. And that's going for Zwane, Ola's pick, Bota, which is an outside chance we both went the other way, Van Rooyen, which is almost a given, and in Gupani, which is another given. So the only 50-50 there is Hanru Bota because he's coming back after a long layoff. But that's Luke Michael's parlay for EFC 114. What do you think about that parlay, Ola?
I mean, I can see why they've gone with the Hawk because obviously he does have that win over him, which is why I said he's going to be extra confidence. He knows the power. He knows.
No, he went with Zwane.
Yeah, I went with Zwane, but I'm saying I
he
can
said
see
he
why.
Went Zwane, Bota, Van Rooyen, and
look, it's good parlay, and the odds are good, isn't it? The odds are tasty, man, and I think that sleep is probably going to come in. I would say hold on tight to that sleep. Do not lose that betting sleep. Um, that's probably gonna come in, and I want 10% when it comes in. Yeah.
He- here's a slightly more tricky parlay. This one's from the UFC middleweight champion Dricus Still Knox Duplessis. He's got this parlay. Van Rooyen, Buerta. Everyone's got Buerta in their parlay. I'm not so sure. Van Rooyen, Buerta, in Kopane, Hokonya. He's gone Hokonya and Balelo. But that's for an 11 spread. So you'd get 11 times your money on that one. So
That's
Luke
not.
Michaels gets you more money at less risk. I definitely go with that parlay.
That's good. That's good. I like it. I like it. I might have to maybe get you to put something together for us over there. Still, we'll talk about that off air. Put some parlays together for us. I like it. 'Cause I can't get the app over here in the UK. I tried, but I can't.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'm just putting together Terence. We will go into the main card in a second. Very exciting main card. I had to jig a little bit because we don't have what's his name, Ramani's details from
Yep.
EFC because they have not changed it yet,
Uh-huh.
which is weird. But I mean, what are we gonna do, right? Make a plan.
Times are hard, like you said. COVID hit them hard.
Ooh, COVID was not friendly. COVID was not friendly. I'm just looking for them to leave the PI. Like with everyone looking towards the UFC, saying UFC, why are you in the PI? Why are you in the PI? We have the same issue here. We are asking the question, why are you in the PI? And their response is, we will be leaving soon. So I hope it is soon. And they're looking to do something in Africa. So let's see what happens. I mean, where would they go at this point? Which country do you think they would find success in if they decided to go outside of South Africa for their first non-PI since COVID event?
Um. Well, as far as the continent, or or just a city in South Africa. Are you talking about the continent or just a city in
No,
South
no, outside of South Africa.
Africa? um.
Outside of
I
South
would,
Africa, they're looking to leave South Africa altogether.
yeah, I would like to see them maybe try like Kenya or Ivory Coast. They'll always be they'll always be able to
Ooh.
to pull in crowd from there. Ivory Coast is a good spot. Nigeria, they got Aqua Championships going on over there, so the facilities for mixed martial arts arenas could be available. In terms of
I
that,
think there's
so
also
yeah,
Sika Fight Club. Yeah, there's also Sika Fight Club up
uh,
in Nigeria. There's quite a few promotions that have sprung up
yeah,
in Nigeria in the past couple of months. Yeah, which is
and
quite interesting.
and finally, another destination that I believe they could visit is Mauritius, and I think Mauritius would absolutely entertain EFC over there. So yeah, I think any of those places could be good for the EFC.
Yeah, 100%. And I think speaking of Mauritius, Mauritius is currently one of those destinations that seems to be getting a lot of attention. Brave was fighting out in Mauritius recently. They had their
Yeah,
Brave 82 event, where Nkosi, the future in the Bella, defended his bantamweight champion against Jose Shorty Torres.
yeah,
And we've got the Swanepoel family who have been doing lots of training out
lots of
in
work.
Mauritius. They've been
Yeah.
going into Mauritius and training different gyms. Lots of work up in Mauritius. So kudos to them. Shout out to Bradley Swanepoel. Hopefully we get to see you back in the hex soon. We haven't seen you in some time. Let us know when you're back. So yeah, Bradley, looking forward to chatting to you again soon.
Yeah, man.
But yes, I think
Big up, Brad.
Mauritius definitely top of the list. Next would then be Nigeria, then Gambia, and that sounds a bit
Hmm.
out, but there is a fight promotion
Mm.
out in the Gambia. That's I think they've had one event so far, only one, so it's not that many, but it's proximity to Europe. You'd be able to get a lot of Europeans to fly in. You get quite a few West Africans to fly in. Then you'd have a very West African, Euro West African sort of event. Not really a South African one, but I think Gambia would be an interesting one because they seem to have some form of fight culture out there, even though, to be frank, most of the training vids I've seen have guys training more on the beach than anything. But hey, why not? Go to the roots of MMA where it all comes from.
Yeah.
What do you think about the?
Look, I like the fact that they're exploring at least coming out of the country, and going to looking to go to all these different places, over there, over there on the continent. So, yeah, I want to see it done though. I want to see it done, but big up to the idea, and let's see if they can pull it off.
And if they come to England, you're going to see me for sure.
Yeah, we'll be here
Now
waiting for them, man. We'll be here waiting for them.
let's finally get into it. The main bout, the interim flyweight title shot between Terence, the Black Panther Balelo, who had to give up his interim bantamweight title in order to take this fight, versus Liridon Ramani, who has taken this fight on 4 days' notice out of Belgium. When we spoke to him on Sunday, he was still in Belgium. He's a police officer, so he was on his phone. I'm like, you can't do an interview on your phone. He's like, I'm a cop. If my friend stopped me, well, so that was fun. Very cool, dude. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this fight. Obviously, we haven't seen Terence fight at flyweight since he lost the title shot to Gift a few EFCs back. So it's good to see him in the hex again, fighting for an interim title against international competition. Now, for those who don't know who Liridon Ramani is, he's a Belgian fighter, flyweight champion out of Belgium, looking to come to South Africa and do big things. He's a traveling fighter. He's fought all over the world. He fought in the Philippines. He's fought in Congo. He was actually training for a fight in the Congo that got cancelled. And that's why he's taking the short notice fight. So he's actually fight ready. He's not coming in cold. He's not coming in without being in a camp. He was literally supposed to be fighting this coming weekend, and that fight got canceled. He got this fight, and he said, I'm ready. So it's very exciting to see this happening, that Terence he's genuinely going to get some competition. It's not just someone coming in who's not really been training. They're taking a chance at a flyweight title shot. He is a good fighter. He's got a 6-4 record, Ramani. He's currently on a one fight losing streak. I think out of his last 5, he's got 3 wins. So that's decent enough. He's fought in quite a few different championships. He's a European beatdown flyweight champion, but I'm looking to see if he can win this fight. And as you said, return to the EFC and defend the interim strap. No, you don't defend the interim strap. What am I saying? And fight for the title against King Shaka. Because like you said, it's not very easy for international fighters to come across, especially with the current terms. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes, how he does it, how he comes over. I'm looking forward to that. What are your thoughts on him as a fighter? And shout out to Tapology for the stats. That's where we got our stats from for this fight. Is from Tapology. If you're looking for stats on any fighters anywhere in the world, type their name, put in MMA, go to Tapology, and you'll get everything you need on that fighter. Yes, Ola, you were saying.
Okay. Look, it's good that Liridon Ramani is not coming in cold, and with the conditions that we spoke about earlier on, he'd have to have catered for this journey by himself, and is one fighter that believes that he can get the job done. Now, there's no pressure on this guy because he's the one coming on home soil to compete against Triple B, and when you're coming in on home soil to compete against somebody that's so prominent in South African mixed martial arts scene, um, it's gonna be a big scalp for him if he was to get his hands raised. But for me, I think what Terence has done up until now is absolutely fantastic. I spoke to him the other day, and like I said to him, I've seen this brother right from the very first day he got his contract, before he even set foot in the cage, and his growth from where he was to where he is now is absolutely phenomenal. Um, and that's why, the type of performances that he puts out, barring the fight against Gift Walker, where he got caught by rare naked choke in that fight. He's been flawless. He's been flawless in all his fights, even all his amateur fights. You go and look at his amateur record; it's flawless. His whole record is flawless, apart from that loss to Gift Walker, and that's what gives me the confidence. In terms of what Terence is capable of, and the other thing as well, the sacrifices and conditions that came with this bout right here. And I didn't know this until I spoke to him on Sunday. Did you know that he's had to relinquish the other belts?
Bantamweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's had to relinquish that, and that's one of his motivations for going for this one. So if he's had to give that up as a motivation to get this one, which is kind of like a condition for him, I think that puts extra pressure on Terence here to really go out there and deliver and get that belt, so he can he can get to fight Zulu when Zulu gets back from injury, because I think that's one fight that's really really on his mind. He's been calling for Zulu for a long time, so yeah, he definitely wants a chance to get in there with Zulu.
Yeah, let's hope we can have King Shaka back soon from that injury to his arm. Shout out to Wolf Fang Division in the comments. We
Big up
hear
Robocop.
everything you're saying. He said I should tell you to stop shaking your bum. So Ola, stop shaking your bum. I'm not sure why, but and yeah, UFC next for Terence Balelo. 100% agree. 100% agree. So we haven't spoken about um we haven't spoken about who we think is going to win and which round. How do you think it's going? Let's look at the odds. And as we saw, this fight, Terence Balelo is in Dricus Duplessis' parlay for the win. So that should tell you something about how this fight should go. And the odds have it at 1.5 to 2.6 in favor of Balelo. So the odds have Balelo winning this one, not by a stretch, but by enough. Do you agree with those odds? What do you think?
Yeah, I think enough is just about right, because Balelo has had to change his whole game plan to face this guy. So that's why I can understand them not making it like a big margin. But on top of that, they also know that Balelo has gotten it done on short notice. So there's no reason for the bookmakers not to go with Balelo on this one. So they've seen him do it on both counts, and short notice, tick, championship fight, tick, give me anyone, tick. Like he's just saying, put anyone in front of me, and these are the things that Terence excels at. He excels under this kind of pressure, and we're gonna see another stellar performance from Terence Balelo.
So, second round, third round, fifth round?
Uh, I'm gonna say first round. I'm gonna
First
say
round.
first round.
Okay. So, The odds, let's see. If you take Balelo by decision, it's 3 times your money. Liridon by finish. Okay. Hmm. First round. First round. I think it's gonna go to the second.
Okay.
I think it's gonna go to the second round. Um. hmm. Terence is going to showcase his ground game a little bit. That's what he said he wants to do. I think second round, ground and pound. I'm not sure how he's going to get him down, but second round, ground and pound. That's where I think it's gonna
Second
go.
round,
Yeah,
ground and
second
pound.
round. Yeah, something's gonna. Ramani's gonna try and take him down because he's got the jiu-jitsu experience, and in there, Terence would have done enough training on his similar to what we saw Dustin do. Against
Yeah.
Islam.
Hmm.
Dustin's get up game was exemplary. Islam was doing the best, and Islam is the best until he got him with, and as DC said, something that Islam, it wasn't DC, yeah, it was DC, that Poirier would not have expected in that yank of his ankle and to spin him around. That
Yep.
that was just phenomenal. That was the highest level that you get, and that's why he should be the pound for pound. That's why he is the pound for pound, and that's why he is right now the best in the world. And if we look at it, he has had 4 title defenses. Yes, 2 were against the same person in Volkanovski, who is one of the goats of the UFC. But if you look at it from that perspective, I think he is that star. Between him and Pereira, they are the 2 names that can carry the UFC over the next year or 2 if they can. No, let me not say if, because I see them continuing their string of wins. I see the charm, that talisman that Alex Pereira is just continuing. I see the skill, the talent, the hardcore brutality that Makhachev can inflict on anyone. I see that continuing, and I see that bringing us back to a place where we can have at least 2 divisions that have someone to be chased, someone worth chasing.
Yeah. 100%. Look, for me, it's just when you look at the trajectory of where these brothers go, and I think is one of the reasons why the EFC is also taking a punt on this and seeing where it goes, because if Ramani goes and wins this, he absolutely screws whatever plans that they got going on. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely screws up everything. Um, so and that's was one of the reasons why I think. And look, Terence is one of the biggest rising stars on the entire roster. We see him in the crowd when he sits in the crowd, and how and how he carries himself. So he's an absolute superstar in the making. And yeah, I can't wait to see him fight on Thursday.
Amazing. Ola, I think that is our time for tonight. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving me all this time, giving the fans all this time, letting us get into the meat of what will be happening at EFC 114. The full entire card is available on the efcworldwide.com website. If you want all the odds we've discussed tonight, they are on World Sport Betting. Don't forget, World Sport Betting is the one-stop shop for your EFC picks, for your EFC bets. Every month at the EFC, every event, World Sport Betting. Well, I think we don't do this very often because we haven't had a show very often. But there's one way that we end our show. There's only one way. There's only one way that we end this. And do you know what that is? Of course. That's right. To everyone watching, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The Fight Week Show, my man Ola right there at Kick Him in, at Head Kick Pod. Kick him in the head on all platforms, Instagram, YouTube. You know where to find us. Till next time, we will see you, and we will see you at EFC 114. Don't forget, we will have live commentary post the fight. We will be doing a premiere of a few of the fights from EFC 114. Please do listen to that. It's absolutely fantastic. We will have Enter the Ninja. That's Iviwe Mpatsua. He is a amateur fighter. Fantastic. He's about to turn pro. And we will have Jackma Podcast. She is fantastic. One of the few female podcasters in the space. Do follow, like, subscribe to her as well. hopefully we'll have Chichi as well. Seen that?
No, you froze when you was just talking about that just now. Your internet just froze. I missed what you said.
Oh, have you seen Chichi's new podcast?
Yes, I know she. I was on a channel the other day, and I saw an interview with Tumelo. Tumelo was the last one that I saw on our channel. But yeah, I know, and I know she's getting a podcast up, and yeah, we definitely giving her a follow, and yeah, we're gonna keep supporting her because she did some good work with both of us, both of our platforms, with Brave CF. So salute to Chichi, man, and the good work that she does over there in South Africa. Big up to Chichi.
Shout out to Chichi. Absolutely love your work at the press conferences as well, Chichi. But to everyone, thank you so much. We will see you again soon. We're out.